Today I'm going to show you a reselling hack that will save you hundreds of dollars in equipment needed to resell. Hey, it's Don. Today I'm going to show you a hack that can save you hundreds of dollars in a very expensive piece of equipment. Now, I do slides, I do glass plate negatives, photo negatives of all different sizes, like this glass plate slide here, just an example. Those are negatives. They have to be scanned or something. You have to have light shining through them to see it. Now, the traditional way would be to get one of these scanners. This is an Epson V600 series scanner. Now, what's interesting on this one is it has a piece that slides off and a lighted panel here that lights up a negative for you. So this is obviously the most common way most people will do this. I recommend this scanner. I use it all the time. But instead of spending $320, $340 on this scanner here, I can show you how to spend $25 and get almost the exact same results for most items. So what I got here is a light pad. This actually is an LED light pad. It plugs in with the USB cable. Now this is about $25 to $50 depending on which version and which company you get. This lights up like a storm. It's a little thin piece. Not only that, you can use this to photo some of the items as well traditionally. Now I'm going to show you that in just a minute here. I actually bought it for some animation, and this is actually an animation bar that I have mounted to this, and this actually fits in a table groove that I made just to shoot some animation with. So I've actually used this for taking photos before in the past and lighting up through the paper so you can see the individual frames as you draw them, or ones that I purchased from the Pink Panther series back in the 90s. So I tried some slides, I tried some negatives, transparencies, the whole works, negatives. Everything works just fine with this $25 item here, shipped again. You can pretty much do any type of negative or positive film, transparency, or anything, glass plates and anything. So if you have big transparencies, this is the way to go. 35mm slides you can use in here. 8mm film if you really have to. You can do the same thing, and the quality is good enough to have a nice zoom in on eBay where you can see all details and sell it that way. You don't have to go all out and spend $340 plus on one of the scanners like that. Again, I would recommend it if you've got the money and you do a lot of this stuff, but for $25, pretty much anybody can get into this with just this simple piece here. Now, I will have a link down below in the description box so you can see exactly what this is called. Look it up yourself anywhere you want. Buy it from wherever you want. Hunt around and get a good one that's going to be really, really bright. This one is actually adjustable. I can dim it. So if it's too bright, this one will dim as well. Let's hop over now and show you how well this works. So here's a glass plate slide. Let's turn this on just so you can see how bright it does get bright enough here. Let me turn on my camera. Again, I use these cam stands, I think it's called. Yeah, cam stands. I've got quite a few of them around here these days. Let me turn this one on too. So with like a glass plate slide or something, I've got paperwork with it too. So I can go ahead and get a picture of the slide, how it looks, without having to worry about the negative. I can also get a picture of any wrapping or anything else like that. Now I also have this hand trigger here, which comes in extremely handy because you never shake the camera. It's quick and it's easy. If you've got two free hands, one hand stays on here, the other hand can just move objects in front of the camera. Hit the button and off you go. Now what's good again about the light table, I turn the light part on, take the paper off, and now I can actually just look at the actual item itself, and I can get a good scan of the actual item. So this is all you need to do. You don't actually need the actual scanner. You can get away with using a light table and doing it this way as you see here. Now I got it a little washed out there. Let's move back out of here. Again, you have to know your camera's limitations, of course. You can use a cell phone on these exact same cam stands here. It does come with a cell phone mount, so you can use your cell phone to take the photos. So with this, once I take the picture, the SD card goes into my computer. From there, I actually can just invert this into a positive, and I'll have a positive image, and I can use that image for eBay. Now, most people are going to buy the scanner. With the scanner, if you've got a large plate negative like this, this, you'll have to scan it twice, because the bed for scanning on a flatbed, at least the traditional ones, and those cost $300. Mine was $300, the Epson V600 series negative and photo scanner. But you'll have to scan them twice and then stitch them together. This way, you just do it once, you're done. This, as I said, is like 20 to 50 bucks depending on the unit you buy. This is all the power you need with this one here. It does very well. You can zoom in and the whole works. Again, it depends on your camera. This camera here is a Nikon D5300 series camera, so it's a better camera. It's a DSLR, digital single lens reflex camera. The best part about this too is it's instant. You can instantly turn it off to take a hard picture versus a backlit photo. So it does it instantly. You can switch back and forth without any issue. So you just take the photo on this. It's already got a white background. It's excellent, easy to do, as you can see here. Here's another thing that I use quite often. These are actually like photo and camera brushes, things along that line. Records, you'll see them in collections occasionally too. I use these to brush off all the little gook inside the crevices of, say, 35mm slides. Now, I've just raised this with a box, literally a cardboard box. You can make one to whatever height you want, no big deal on that. Let's just grab a couple of slides up here, and we'll show you that the slides work just as effectively. Again, this is 20 bucks versus what you would have with the actual scanner. So I don't know how well it's going to show through me trying to video this little screen here, but let's just say that it comes out fairly darn good when you actually take a picture of it. It's blown up bigger than life size, so it's actually a good image. It just, again, depends on your camera. So I don't know how well that shows off, but it actually looks very nice. And again, it turns instantly off. I don't even have to move it, and I can take a picture of the actual slide itself as well, the cardboard around it. So you're killing two birds with one stone. Instead of having to scan them and go back in and get a actual photo of them, you can do it this way. So, and you don't have to have the backlit with this either. As I said, you can instantly turn it on and then off you go. So this is a huge plus for us with like the glass plate negatives. If I had to do all of the stack here, I'd have to stitch every single one of those. This cuts the time down by like 75% or better. No extra processing other than inverting the image in a graphics program, and that takes just literally a second. You click a button and off it goes. So there's no big deal when you're messing around with that. It's also super easy to change the slides, go from one to another here without any trouble whatsoever. It's pretty instantaneous here. And if you scan it at a high resolution, you can digitally mess with the photo if you want. You can use the image. If you're doing, say, film strips, let me grab a film strip here just to show you. Now, this is a section of the original Terminator, and this is 35mm film. You can actually see the stereo soundtrack, those little white bumps all up and down on the left-hand side of the screen. That's stereo. Each one of those rows is one side of the stereo. So basically, if you had one row of this, it would just be mono filmage. But this is literally, you can go here and take one picture of each frame, and you could actually go back and animate this doing the exact same thing. You could use this to do 8mm as well. You'd have to hand unroll it, but that is not a huge ordeal. Again, it comes down to how good your camera is. That's really the biggest factor in this. You can hold it down with your fingers and just move it if you want. As you can see, this is the title segment from the 1966 War Between the Planets, and this is the actual, again, 35mm film that played in the theaters back in '66. If you don't have the free hand or you're not balanced enough to do it this way, you can just get a piece of glass, a piece of plexiglass, and lay it over this. Your camera will take a shot straight through the plexiglass. It won't matter if it's there or not. You won't see it at all. If you want to be cheap too, you got an old picture frame around the house, just take the glass out, make sure it's clean, and set it over the items that you are photoing with your camera here on top of the light pad. So there's a million different things you can do with this. The quality, of course, is great when you get the hang of what you're doing. And again, one hand would be down on the actual item if you need to. It's not going to show up in the image, as you can see. And the other one would have the clicker in your hand, and you'd be able to just instantly take a photo of whatever you're doing. So you could take them quickly and easily without having to worry about any of that. So this could potentially save you $300 just from purchasing this instead of, say, the scanner that we use. Now, there is a good reason to have the scanner, because it is always a better quality, better image. If you want to do anything digital or, anything with video or anything else like that, the scanners are essential in my book. But money-wise, for the just selling the items, this is far better than anything else you can do, and it's far cheaper again. Simple, easy. This is back to bare bones basics. You are back to a camera, but again, the scanner itself does take a little bit of time with slides and stuff. So time-wise, it's about the exact same amount of time to use the camera as it is to use a flatbed scanner that does slides, negatives, and transparencies. Well, there we have it. Hopefully that gave you some ideas, some thoughts. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button down below. You can also hit the bell icon to be notified if I post new content or go live. Subscribe and tell all your friends.
When did you start baking from scratch?
It's not scratch, Mom. It's new Pillsbury Plus.
A yellow cake this firm could only be from scratch.
It's Pillsbury Plus.
A cake this moist could only be from scratch. A cake this rich could only be from scratch.
It's Pillsbury Plus. The plus is pudding. Pudding right in the mix to add that moistness.
Rich flavor. New Pillsbury Plus, huh? Looks like scratch has met its match.